Yo, what is up, Guardians? Today is the final day. It is the day of the expansion. Edge of Fate launches in just under 4 hours at the time of me recording this. It's literally 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and at 1, we're probably going to be loading into the queue and sitting there for an hour and a half. So, we'll see what happens. You can join us live on Twitch. We'll be live today and for the rest of the week until the raid goes live, and then obviously we'll be playing through the weekend. So feel free to join us there. We'll hang out and chat and see what we can do to get through the expansion. But for now, while we are waiting, I wanted to go ahead and get this video out. This is going to be based on the new perks and weapons list that Fallout Plays has made for the expansion. He got to go and play, and he took note of basically everything that he saw. I know there are a couple things that are missing on here. There's obviously weapons, armor, stuff that they didn't get to see that they weren't able to talk about. And obviously there are things like the suspend weapon perk that we know are in the game, but we don't know exactly where it is. But this list, if you haven't seen it, is from Fallout Plays. I will put a link down below to the list of his stuff. And he has on here like all the weapon perks that he looked at, all the origin traits, the weapon mods, the armor set bonuses, and everything. And I just went ahead and I made a bit of a wish list of things that I will be looking for to see if they drop in the middle of the campaign. These are going to be things that if they drop, maybe you should consider swapping to them. They seem to be pretty good, guns, and there's good rolls on here that fill unique niches. So these are things to pay attention to. If you want to go see the entire list, just go ahead and pull up the spreadsheet and you can like look at everything and see what information we have on them. But for the wish list today, I did go ahead and do perks, origin traits, armor sets, and the weapons, just so we go through the whole gamut. Of the new perks, there are a couple that I think are interesting, namely being impromptu ammunition, which is going to give you more ammo progress after getting a kill. The new ammo meters seem to be pretty good, so I think being able to build into that is going to be strong, but we'll see how necessary it is. If you get something to drop with this, give it a try, see if it gives you any better ammo economy. Even on double special loadouts, I would love to see how this does with double special. Proximity power is going to be a close range kind of perk. You'll have this on shotguns, SMGs, fusions, and looks like the hand cannon. The shotgun hand cannon is going to have a lot of good perks on it. And I think proximity power is one to pay attention to because while you have targets nearby, while you're surrounded, getting a kill will give you bonus melee stat. This seems to be something new that they're doing for the expansion where some perks will just give you straight up more stats. And with the new stat system giving you greater bonuses up to that 200 stat, if you are not able to hit 200, but you're at like 110, 120, and you want to get some more of that damage bonus, or you just want to get some bonus stats anywhere else in your build, something like proximity power could be very useful to pay attention to. So if you do get a proximity power weapon and you're doing a melee build and you don't have 200, consider running that to try and build that gap up. We'll see if it stacks. I believe it does stack. So something we'll have to test, but definitely a powerful option. There is also Blast Distributor, which is a grenade version of that. You'll get bonus grenade stat for dealing splash damage. So this will drop on things that do explosive damage, rocket sidearms, rocket pulse, grenade launchers, machine guns with the new rocket like micro origin trait that we'll talk about down here. Easier to proc than proximity power because proximity power needs kills, blast distributor just needs to do splash damage. Grenades have lower uptime than melee sometimes. So this is, I think, pretty even. We'll see exactly how they play out, but both of those I think deserve some testing in your loadouts if you get some drops of them. And then Burning Ambition is like jolting feedback but for Scorch. So instead of getting kills to apply Scorch to nearby enemies, the more damage you deal to a single target, and it should be between multiple targets, like Jolting Feedback does, like you can switch from one to the other, not like Kinetic Tremors. But dealing damage to a target over time, about half the mag, will scorch the target, and then dealing damage to scorched targets will also inflict more scorch up until they ignite. This is a great way for solar primaries to get damage into endgame. You can cause ignitions and cause scorch for your synergies with your subclasses and stuff without having to get a kill. So in Legend campaign, if you're really fighting some tanky enemies, this could be a good thing to use. If you get it as a drop, you might want to hold on to it just to use in some later content once things get harder. Now for the origin traits, we're looking at Vanguard Determination. This is going to drop from the strike playlist, so you're not going to get this without you actually going into strikes and trying to get it. But if you do get weapons that drop with this, this is a pretty good perk to pay attention to. As an origin trait, just getting kills after using your class ability will give you bonus damage resistance. So great way to build into some bulk on your weapon. I don't know exactly what weapons this is going to drop on, but just pay attention to that. See if this is dropping, if the weapon looks good, if there's any good rolls on it. Just keep an eye out for that. And then exhaustive research should be the destination origin trait for the weapons for the expansion. which means you should be seeing a lot of this. But if you are getting a lot of if you are getting a bunch of exhaustive research things and you are running those, just make sure you're taking advantages every now and then. You have to hold ADS, kind of like we do with Unstop, and then wait for it to charge up, and then it will shoot a rocket for the cost of 1 ammo. Should be pretty ammo efficient on certain weapon types, less so on others, but it should give you a nice burst damage at the start of a fight or when you need to hit a champion and you don't want to just dump like special or heavy ammo into it. This will give you a little bit of a better conversion rate. Now, armor sets, I think, are going to be something you want to build into, right? We want armor sets. We want the bonuses of them. They are free value on top of whatever you're running. However, you do need to also have stats that compete, so you need to work a little bit harder to make these work in your loadouts. However, the two that we know of that I think are important to kind of try to build into, and if you're able to farm them, you want to go ahead and take a look at those and see if you can get these, would be Tech Sec and Bushido. Now, Tech Sec has a 2-set bonus where your kinetic weapons deal more damage to overshields, vehicles, and constructs. And then at the 4-set, you will get a shockwave that basically is a blinding GL shot whenever you break shields or kill a powerful combatant with a kinetic weapon. So if you're building into exotic kinetics, this will work with those. There's not a specific type of kinetic weapon, just any kinetic damage. Even a microcosm would benefit from this. So this seems like a very powerful thing. If you're going to have a kinetic weapon, why not run Tech Sec? Especially if you're going to take something like Outbreak, or if you're going to take New Land Beyond, things like that are very powerful exotic kinetics. These will boost the power of those without you having to build craft into them. It'll just be based on your armor. So great niche pick to have. As well as Bushido, which should be from higher tier difficulties of the destination. You might not see this drop in the campaign. I'm not totally 100% on where it will spawn from. So I would pay attention to this for the 2-set bonus mostly, which is when you finish reloading a weapon or you pull a weapon out, getting a kill will heal you. Pretty great effect. Everybody loves healing. This is independent of your subclass, so this could give you a lot of healing on like an Arc subclass that doesn't normally have access to that, or on Strand. This could be a nice piece to use. And the 4-set is also good, but just a little less generally useful unless you are using bows, because bows reload on every shot. You'll get to benefit from the 2-set bonus very consistently, and the 4-set bonus is that bow, shotguns, and sword blows reduce your incoming damage. You get to get DR, which is kind of like this Vanguard Determination, right? You get to get bonus DR for bow kills, and then dealing damage with them will extend it. So you can get heals on your bow kills, you'll get bonus DR on your kills, and dealing hits will keep up your DR. Very great combination, I think, into endgame, especially if you are working with these bows. Shotguns will work also pretty well with that, but the sword, harder to work into because you're not going to be able to reload it. You have to, freshly draw it. So if you're killing things with Eager Edge, maybe, but realistically, this is going to be a bow shotgun 4-set, and then the 2-set you can kind of run and mix and match with anything, and it should be pretty powerful. So for the main appeal of this list, right, I wanted to look at some weapons and their perks and find some things that if they drop in the campaign, you might consider putting these on. Because a lot of this armor and these perks and stuff, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll just put that on because it's going to be crazy. But there are some weapons and some combinations that I think you're going to want to just put on, rock them, give them a try, and they might be even a best in slot option. So this is the list of things that you want to pay attention to in the campaign. I'm not sure where they're all going to drop from. Some of these are definitely destination weapons. Some of them are probably not. So let's go ahead and break straight into it with the crossbow. The heavy crossbow is a heavy bow that has basically infinite ammo because you can go and pick up your bolts. Now we don't know where this is going to drop. We don't know what perks are going to drop on it. However, just the niche of having an infinite ammo heavy, and it's going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of things to test. It'll probably have a lot of unique perks, and it's going to have unique magazine options that change how your bows function. I think this is going to be something that you really want to dive into, test out while you're in the campaign, because it'll give you a good idea of if you want to chase it further. And if not, at least having a crossbow is probably a good option to keep in your vault. Second up, the probably more meta-changing thing here is going to be this shotgun hand cannon, the Ferronutriafera, or Fornutriafera, I don't know. So this is a solar hand cannon that shoots a shotgun spread. So it also gets shotgun perks on a hand cannon, and it is still a primary weapon. So the main reason I think this is going to be game changer and something that you want to switch to if you get it is that it drops with 1-2 punch, which is going up to a 150% damage buff, and it is going to be additive instead of multiplicative. So you would really like to get that buff as often as you can. Not relying on special to use this is very, very big because it means every single enemy that you run into, you can go ahead and use 1-2 punch against. So I would really focus on getting one of these with 1-2 punch and then either threat remover or threat detector. They'll give you bonus reload speed, removers for hitting your shots, detectors for being near enemies. Remover is probably going to be pretty good because I doubt you're going to be one-shotting a lot of things with this. If you're trying to do a melee build, you're going to be going for the full damage and then getting the 1-2 punch. So remover will at least give you that reload speed just for the hits, and then you can get the 1-2 punch to continue your melee builds, you know, your Worm God stacks or whatever combination blow, etc. you are running. Keep an eye on that. I think this is going to be a very, very big thing going into the future with the new additive scaling. You really want to have 1-2 punch active as often as possible, and I think that's why we're getting it on a primary now. Now, the next thing you might consider switching to is going to be the Rocket Pulse. Mint Retrograde, going to be a destination thing for sure. I would highly recommend trying this thing out. It looks really cool. It's a couple of good perks, right? You can get rewind rounds on here, or you could get impromptu ammunition if you want to work in a double special thing. Give that a try here with this. And then you can put on things like Chain Reaction, One for All, or Master of Arms, so very flexible damage option as well as ad clear option. I think you're going to want to try a couple different versions of this and see how the ammo economy really fleshes out, because it looks like it's going to be very powerful, very fun. And if anything, this is probably going to be strong right now, and Bungie will nerf it later, so you might as well enjoy it when it comes out hot. Also, a very good pick here, the auto rifle, which I believe is going to drop from the destination, is Giver's Blessing, which is our first Kinetic 720 auto that's not Chroma Rush. Chroma Rush came back last season or the season before, and it was okay. It had subsistence kinetic tremors, which is like fine. Not really something that people are going for. If you have one, you can always run that. I think this thing is going to blow that out of the water. This is going to be a really good pick compared to the last thing we had, which was like Steel Feather in Season of Dawn, and still hasn't come back yet. Come on, Bungie, where's it at? But this gets rewind rounds and shoot to loot. Personally, I'm going to take shoot to loot in this thing if I find it. But rewind rounds is also just great if you want consistent damage, because it still gets kinetic tremors, still an amazing perk. Shoot to loot, though, is going to be way better than subsistence, and rewind rounds will also probably do you better without needing a kill to proc that. So both of these will work great with kinetic tremors because, you know, you get some more ammo back while you're dumping that mag to proc this. And if you do proc kinetic tremors, it will pick up loot and orbs nearby. So that's going to be a great, great, great pick, especially with Tech Sec. If that is the destination thing, you can combine those. I'm pretty sure the destination armor trait is the Aeon Renewal, which is for explosions with rockets and GLs. So, up to you if you really want to run that right now, but I think this is going to be a great combination. Also going to be a great combination is the new Kinetic Longbow, which is going to be like a legendary Wish Ender type bow. Should also drop from the destination. It's going to have a slow draw rate, so you're going to want to play with it, see how you feel about it. I think Attrition Orbs Kinetic Tremors is going to be a pretty strong pick here. The fun part, I think, is Attrition Orbs should proc pretty fast on a bow, since it is a one magazine size weapon. Kinetic Tremors we know will be in 2 hits, but the question is going to be, if it overpens a target and hits multiple targets, will it proc Attrition Orbs faster? If you aren't interested in running Attrition Orbs, or you just want to run something else, it does not drop with the regular like Archer's Tempo perk, so you'll be looking at Rapid Hit or Successful Warm-Up as your best faster fire rate option. And then you've got something like Demo on here that might work in that column. And then you could always go for a damage perk like High Ground or Adrenaline Junkie probably. Honing and Precision Instruments are hard maybes, right? But I think Kinetic Tremors and Attrition Orbs is going to be a pretty powerful combo. Following that up, we have a Gape, which is the Solar 2-round burst hand cannon. I believe this is also going to be either a destination or just something that drops from the portal. So if you do see some of these drop, look for a Heal Clip Burning Ambition roll. Now this does get Heal Clip Incandescent. It is a 2-round burst hand cannon. If you are a fan of those, this should feel pretty good. But mainly I think this is a great pick because of this Burning Ambition perk. It's going to drop on a couple of weapons, but like one of those is only in Trials, or sorry, in Crucible. So it's going to be a little harder to get if you're just playing through the campaign. So if you are playing the campaign, you might see a couple of Agapes drop. And if you do, and you get a Burning Ambition Heal Clip roll, try that out. See how it feels, especially if you're in Legend campaign where you're not killing things instantly and they might survive long enough for Burning Ambition to proc. I would love to see how that's doing on Legend mode, if you're able to get so many like consistent ignitions. And then if you just like the 2-round burst, I don't think we have a Solar 2-round burst, so this will fill out a nice niche in your vault. Speaking of nice niches in your vault, Theodolite is a arc micro missile, which is basically just an arc mountaintop. Means you will have a version in your energy slot if you need movement and you don't want to run kinetic or you don't want to run Lenthanim. You can run Theodolite and we'll still get that momentum. Obviously, it is still a very powerful option for dealing with single targets, majors, and champions. So I highly recommend going for direct impacts on that. I went for the arc perks on this. I'll go ahead and pull it up over here really quick. It does have a couple of options that are damage perks, and then we got Rolling Storm on here. You got Honing, Binary Orbit, Frenzy. I think Reaper's Tithe is a little complicated. That one, it gives you a damage buff for getting multi-kills with a single shot, which this frame doesn't really vibe with. It's a lot more about the impact damage than the AoE. You are able to get that AoE, but I think you're going to be better off taking something like Volt Shot that's very consistent, or something like Frenzy, or even Honing if you're running an element in the top slot and a different one in the heavy slot. You can still get a consistent damage buff, but I think Volt Shot's going to be a great pick here. Give you AoE, bonus single target damage, and then Blast Distributor will give you bonus points on your grenade for every shot, so that's just a pretty free way to get some bonus damage, bonus regen. Ulterior Observation is on here because it is a stasis machine gun with perks on it, which is more than almost every stasis machine gun in the game. I don't know why stasis machine guns are so left out with good perk rolls. And this thing, don't get me wrong, it has perk rolls, but it's still also left out to rot for some reason. It is a 600 RPM, so it should feel pretty good. It's going to be fast fire rate, you're going to magnum some things. I put Demo Headstone Subsistence in the first column because it's got a couple of options. Demo should help you get your grenade energy back and will let you reload it. Subsistence will help you skip reloads. And Headstone because it's stasis and sometimes you need a crystal. In the second column, though, I mean, Binary Orbit's like, okay, this new perk is going to be basically Paracausal Affinity, but the opposite. So you want to get a light kill to get a bonus damage on your dark weapon. So like good for Prismatic, or if you're running very specific powerful weapons and you are going to be swapping. I don't know if this is really going to be a play on machine guns where you want to be using it to kill ads. So probably not Binary Orbit, but if you're on Prismatic, it could still be a good pick. Rhyme Stealer because that's like one of the best perks on the gun, and then Dragonfly because it's AoE and you can do Dragonfly Headstone to get double AoE perks at least. But yeah, like it's not great. I don't think Adagio is worth it because then what's the point of having a 600? And then it's like some PvP perks. So Dragonfly, whoopsies. Dragonfly is probably your best pick there. Still not an amazing machine gun. It's like hardly a machine gun at this point. But somehow it's still the best like stasis machine gun we've had access to. Like, come on, Bungie, step it up with stasis machine guns. And finally, the last thing on this list I want to talk about is Pure Recollection. Now, this is a solar rocket sidearm. If you have Aberrant Action and you have the roll on that, you're fine. It's probably all you need. I think this is just a substitute if you weren't able to get the red border, or you didn't do it for whatever reason, or you're just logging into the expansion because this is your first expansion or something. Go ahead, if you see a Pure Recollection and it drops Heal Clip, it's going to be a banger. Go ahead and take it, run it. I don't think there was anything else on here that we really had to look at because Fallout did not have all the perks. So I think running Ambitions on here to give you Scorch on hit. But I also believe Incandescence on here. Oh yeah, there it is. You can run either of those perks. I know Heal Clip is on this because somebody else had Heal Clip. There are some things other people have had, but I don't remember exactly what this is. So Fallout's list is the most convenient way to look at these weapons. If you get lead from gold or impromptu ammunition, this could also be great, right? Getting more ammo and a double special loadout on a rocket sidearm seems pretty good. It'll give you more progress to its own ammo. So this is also something to pay attention to, right? It's on the perk list. I didn't put it in the specific weapon wish list because I don't think it's 100% necessary, but we will see. I think great pick, but if you have Aberrant Action, you're not too worried about it. But yeah, that is all the things I think you should be looking out for when the expansion drops later today. We will hopefully get a bunch of these in the next day or two. It's going to be interesting to see how the world tier goes. I don't really know what to expect with the campaign, but I hope you all have a great time with the campaign. Be careful of spoilers. I am going to be posting probably stuff with spoilers tomorrow, going forward for the rest of this week. We're going to talk about the Legend campaign. We're going to talk about anything that drops, any secrets. So if you are wary of spoilers, just be careful of Twitter and YouTube for a while. Other than that, I hope to see you all again later this week. And on Twitch, go ahead and follow down below and catch us when we're live if you have a spare time. I will see you all very, very soon.